For 20 years, I've been raising a daughter who isn't related to me by blood. Essentially, she's my stepdaughter. Blood relations don't matter, she feels like my real daughter. That's what I always believed. But I never expected things to turn out the way they did. If you're going to be like that, then I have my own thoughts too. This is the story of our unforgettable pseudo family. My name is Diane and I'm 50 years old. I've been married to my husband, Tom, for 20 years. It's my first marriage, but it's Tom's second. When I married him, he already had a daughter named Sally. She was only 9 years old at the time. Initially, I didn't know Tom had a child. As we continued dating, he told me about his past divorce and his daughter who was in elementary school. By the time he revealed this, I was already deeply drawn to him. Tom seemed to have feelings for me too, and about 6 months after we met, he formally asked me to be his girlfriend. Despite this, I couldn't wholeheartedly embrace the relationship at first. The man I loved had been divorced and had a child. Would I really be happy if we married? Such worries swirled in my head. After much contemplation, I decided to date him. Eventually, I started seeing his daughter, Sally, more often, and she began to grow attached to me. One day, during a meal, Sally muttered, "It would be nice if Diane could become my mom." I was taken aback by her words. As if waiting for this moment, Tom excitedly responded, "Actually, I've been thinking the same thing. Diane, would you like to become a real family with us?" Tom expressed his feelings directly to me. I felt I could make it work with this family. Gratefully, I accepted their feelings, and thus we officially became a family. Right after we got married, life was blissful. My daughter enjoyed the meals I prepared and told me they were delicious. On holidays, my husband would take us out. The more time I spent with them, the deeper our family bond grew. Of course, there were times when we clashed, but that's just part of being a family. I was glad I married Tom. However, around the 10th year of our marriage, the attitude of my husband and daughter became cold. One evening, I came home after running some errands to find the house pitch dark. My husband and daughter should have been waiting for me, and we should have been sitting around the dinner table. Feeling uneasy, I immediately called them both. The phone rang, but neither of them picked up. What should I do if something had happened to them? Should I report it to the police? Ignoring my worries, I tried to stay calm. I heard the front door open and the voices of my husband and daughter. Quickly, I headed towards the entrance. There they were, my husband and daughter, laughing happily together. "Oh, thank goodness. I was worried because neither of you had contacted me," I said, relieved. Ignoring my concerns, my daughter coolly replied, "Oh, you're back. Just glad you're both safe. I'll get dinner started. Let's eat together," I suggested. "We've already eaten with Dad." "No thanks. You can eat alone," she said. Huh? They ate together without telling me? That's never happened before. So, that's what happened. A heads up would have been nice, I remarked. Perhaps my words struck a nerve because my husband suddenly started shouting, "Why do we have to report everything to you? What Sally and I do is none of your business." "What, Tom?" I replied, shocked. I had never seen this side of him before. We'd had minor arguments before, but I had never seen him lose his temper like that. "This woman is scared of Dad." Hilarious, Sally mocked. My husband joined in. "She's overstepping her boundaries as a stepmother. She's not even part of our real family." "Ha, that's right. The only one related by blood in this house is Dad," Sally chimed in. The sudden change in my husband and daughter left me reeling. Why am I being treated this way all of a sudden? Until recently, we were a happy family living peacefully together. "What happened to you two? Did I do something wrong?" I asked, bewildered. Their response was beyond unreasonable. "Something wrong? It's you. You are the problem itself, isn't it?" "Haha, right, Dad?" Sally sneered. "Yeah, that's right. The way she parades around acting like a good mother is especially infuriating," Tom agreed. "I get it. It's so annoying when she tries to act like a good mother." Haha. Is this for real? To be insulted so thoroughly by the two people I loved most. Thinking about my family that night, I lost my appetite. After taking a bath, I went straight to bed, but my husband said sleeping in the same room was uncomfortable, so I ended up on a living room couch. From that day forward, my husband and daughter's attitudes worsened. They grew colder and colder by the day. If they were just cold, that would have been one thing. But what hurt me the most was seeing them laugh while speaking ill of me. "Dad, how long are we keeping her around?" Haha. Well, As long as she's here, we won't have to worry about housework. I guess we can keep her until we get bored. Haha. You, seriously, Dad, you're way too kind. They disparaged me without end, as if I were the villain. At first, I didn't understand why I was being treated this way. But after a while, I began to grasp the truth. One evening, I overheard my daughter talking on the phone with someone. Yeah, it's okay. We're about to kick her out. Kick me out. Trying not to be noticed by my daughter, I quietly listened in. So, when are you coming back? Dad can't wait. Living together is so much better when my real mom is around. It seemed the person on the phone was my husband's ex-wife, Sally's biological mother. That's when the penny dropped. My husband and daughter must have started secretly meeting with her. Their affection seemed to be leaning towards her. I realized I'd been compared to her, and now felt like they'd branded me as the inferior one. That's why they suddenly became so cold towards me, now that their biological mother was coming back into the picture. I guess I'll eventually have to leave. Of course, I thought about getting a divorce right away, but realistically, I've been a stay-at-home mom with all the money going to Sally's college. The little bit that comes my way is peanuts. There's no way I could get a divorce and move out right now. I considered getting a part-time job, but it would be a hassle if my husband found out. I tried some work-from-home gigs, but let's be real, it wasn't much. Just a few $100. There's no way I can save up for moving with that. My husband and daughter's cold behavior hasn't changed. Maybe I've built up a tolerance because it doesn't get to me as much, but living with people who probably can't stand me is just like living in hell. Then one day, Sally spoke to me, which was rare. Hey, I'm getting married. What? Married? Sally was 29. She could get married anytime. Apparently, she's marrying the heir of the company where she works as a receptionist, and he's set to take over his father's business. I didn't know about this, but I was genuinely happy that she told me about her marriage. Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations. Thanks, haha. The wedding's in a month. Expecting a generous gift from you. I see she's after a gift. Though I had mixed emotions, she's my daughter that I've raised for 20 years. It's a big deal for me too. I'll make a decision about the divorce after attending her wedding, I thought. As I was thinking, Sally continued, Oh, and don't get it wrong. You are not invited to the wedding. What? But you just said about the gift. Are you dense? She interrupted. I meant to wire the gift that day. No way I'd invite you, Sally continued. But I'm inviting my real mother. She's making it big in the beauty salon business. She owns multiple chains nationwide and is a successful businesswoman. A businesswoman? Yeah, having her at the wedding looks good, and I'm sure she'll give a big gift. Dad wants to get back with her. Your father? I asked, stunned. Yes, seriously, what's the point of keeping a housewife? You were dumb, huh? So, because his ex-wife or biological mother is successful, they want to ditch me, a housewife. I couldn't believe I wouldn't even be invited to my daughter's wedding. As I stood there, stunned, Sally berated me further. Don't you dare show up at my wedding, you fake mother. My husband, watching all this calmly, added with a smug grin, Hey, why are you surprised? It's obvious you're like a fake family member. Plus, as Sally said, I want to get back with my ex. She's doing way better. Haha. At that moment, all my pent-up anger and frustration came flooding out. Is that so? That's how it is, huh? For these past 20 years, I've tried my best to build a good family relationship, and for what? I took a deep breath and continued, If you're going to play that game, I have my own thoughts too. All right then, I won't be coming to the wedding. I informed my daughter and husband of my decision and then headed to a certain place. A month later, on the day of my daughter's wedding, I followed their instructions, not attending the ceremony, but instead making preparations to move out. I had already informed my husband and daughter of my plans to leave on that day, and I had a signed divorce agreement from my husband. All that was left was to wait for their move. As I diligently packed my things, my daughter called at the exact moment I anticipated. Huh? Mom, where are you right now? Get to the venue immediately. Right off the bat, my daughter was pleading for my help. The venue? What are you talking about? Weren't you the one who told me not to come? Please, just come. If you don't, the ceremony will have to be canceled, she said, panicking and sobbing on the other end of the line. Ah, yes, this was all part of my plan. Mom, are you listening? They're saying they'll call off the engagement if you don't show up. To my desperate daughter, I replied coolly, Is that so? It's largely thanks to me that your boyfriend decided to marry you in the first place." "Huh? What do you mean?" she asked, her voice full of panic. And with my words, my daughter was in full-blown panic mode. To my confused daughter, Sally, I revealed the truth. "You see, I've actually met your fiancé before, or rather, he came to meet me. Apparently, he had been investigating our family. He investigated us." "For what?" "He told you he was the heir to your company, right? Of course, he would be cautious about choosing his marriage partner. His father hired a private detective to investigate us after hearing about the marriage plans for my daughter. I immediately visited a law firm, intent on proceeding with a divorce in my favor. On my way back, a man approached me, claiming to be my daughter's fiancé. He explained that his father had been investigating our family and had discovered my husband and daughter's frequent meetings with my husband's ex-wife. Wondering why they seemed to enjoy the ex-wife's company while mistreating me, he sought my side of the story. Of course, I told him everything. How the ex-wife had become a successful businesswoman, and how my husband and daughter were planning to leave me for her wealth and connections, driving me out of the house. "Did you talk badly about me to him?" my daughter accused me. "I merely stated the facts. You have been mistreating me for quite some time," I responded firmly. "Why would you do such a thing? It's unnecessary," she protested. "Unnecessary? Isn't it your own fault that this is happening? You are the one who did wrong," I countered, pushing back. My daughter fell silent, unable to retort. "But I'm not a monster. I've raised you as my daughter for 20 years, and I genuinely wanted you to be happy," I continued, offering a suggestion. "A suggestion?" she asked. "Yes, if my daughter invites me to her wedding, I wanted him to marry her as planned." Surprisingly, even after I told him everything, he didn't completely give up on my daughter. He admitted that he truly loved her and still wanted to marry her. However, he said he felt uncomfortable marrying someone who couldn't even appreciate the person who raised her. So I pleaded with him, if Sally chose to invite me to her wedding at the very last moment, please accept her. But she squandered even that chance. Far from it, she treated me like a nuisance right until the end, alongside my husband, even calling us a fake family. "Mom, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I won't say cruel things anymore," she pleaded over the phone. "Hey Diane, is what you just said true? If so, please help Sally out." My husband joined in, his voice filled with remorse. Naturally, I had no intention of forgiving them. They were the ones who trampled on their last chance. It was far too convenient to ask for forgiveness. No, they forgot the kindness of being raised for 20 years and quickly switched allegiance to my successful ex-wife and real mother. I would never forgive them. Never. I declared so, and then hung up the phone. I blocked their numbers one after another, picked up my bags, and headed to the apartment I had already rented. On the way, I didn't forget to submit the divorce papers at the town hall. Even if I were to be invited to my daughter's wedding, I had decided in my heart to divorce my husband. There was no way I could stay with them after suffering from all the constant verbal abuse. Later, I heard from my daughter's fiancé that my daughter and husband had begged for marriage, crying. But once the truth came out, it was too late. That marriage proposal was utterly broken off. As a result, my daughter quit her job and became a recluse, and my husband is now apparently busy caring for her mental health. It must have caused quite a bit of trouble on her fiancé's side. I wanted to apologize, and I contacted him. To me, he gave kind words. "It's okay, it's just that Sally and her dad turned out to be disappointing. Rather, I'm glad I realized it before I married her. I owe you, ma'am. Thank you." If Sally could have married such a sincere person, she would have been happy. While I do feel a bit sad thinking about it, I don't regret it because I'm free now. I would